AI has become 2017's talking point, with more phones adding in AI features than you can shake a stick at. Huawei is taking these claims to the next level by building a neural processing unit into its latest chipsets, a chipset built specifically to process nothing but AI. Is this the phone of the future? Hey everybody, it's Nick from Android Headlines, and this is our review of the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Huawei is back with another flagship device, this one launching in Europe first for €799 and likely coming to the US in the very near future. What's so good about the Mate 10 Pro? An incredibly gorgeous build, desktop projection features, and amazing battery life. Right off the bat, it's pretty clear Huawei is going for the kill in the looks department. This phone is absolutely gorgeous in every way, from the glossy, ceramic-like coating all around the back and sides of the phone, to the near bezel-less screen on the front. Everything about the Huawei Mate 10 Pro looks like a high-end 2017 phone. I particularly love Huawei's striped bar styling, something that's evolved over the past few years and really has come into its own. This, coupled with the beautiful symmetry of the dual camera lenses and fingerprint sensor on the back, just looks stunning. And it's a shame this thing is so slippery because I hate covering it up. The coating is super fingerprint resistant, and the phone is even IP67 water and dust resistant too. There's a clear TPU case inside each and every box, plus Huawei applies a screen protector on every Mate 10 Pro out of the box too, so it's at least covered from minimal drops and damage, and is quite a bit more grippy with this case. Stereo speakers grace the phone, with the earpiece acting as one, and a dedicated down-firing speaker as the other. These are of excellent quality, get super loud, and in general have quite a bit of audio range, particularly noticeable when watching videos with lots of dialogue. There's no 3.5mm audio jack unfortunately, but there is an IR blaster. Kind of a weird change up in 2017, but it's nice to be able to use the phone as a remote here and there, although keeping the 3.5mm jack would have been infinitely more useful. Bluetooth fans will also note that every codec around is supported here. aptX, aptX HD, and LDAC are all here and fully supported and customizable too. The screen on the front is what we've come to expect from a near bezel-less phone at this point. At 6 inches and with tiny bezels, this 1080p AMOLED screen is a beauty. Super punchy colors combined with excellent motion resolution and brightness, but at 404 pixels per inch, it's not quite as sharp as some other phones may be, but that's likely okay since it's not Daydream VR capable and won't be used in a way that you'll likely ever notice. There is some rainbowing of the glass when holding it at an angle, but the screen itself doesn't actually shift color, so no worries there. Huawei continues its knuckle gesture ideas, allowing you to use your knuckles to perform various gestures on the screen. Swiping across the screen launches multitasking mode, double tapping with both knuckles starts a screen recording, and single tapping takes a screenshot. You can also draw a handful of letters to launch apps too, and in general this is a pretty awesome way to interact with the phone, although it's not new to Huawei flagships. EMUI 8 is a massive jump in both version number as well as usability and design, bringing things closer to stock Android in many ways, all while retaining the visual look of EMUI. Android 8.0 Oreo runs underneath Huawei's feature-packed skin, and while battery life is excellent in general, you'll need to shut off some of the out-of-the-box enabled features that restrict background app usage, otherwise you'll run into problems with many apps delivering notifications when they need to. Projection mode is probably my favorite new feature, as it turns the Mate 10 Pro into a fully usable desktop computer with just a single USB Type-C to HDMI cable. This works for DisplayPort cables too, so if you've got a monitor with that, you can use it as well. You can either use the touchscreen as a mouse, with a virtual keyboard appearing when needed, just as it does during regular phone usage, or a keyboard and mouse can be hooked up either via Bluetooth, or if you've got a USB dongle to wire some up. Everything behaves as you would expect in this mode, and all apps already on the phone are compatible, running basically in tablet mode with full windowing options and everything. Not everything will play nice with this type of interface, Netflix for example, but it's amazing to see how seamless Huawei's projection method works with literally zero configuration at all. It even outputs to a 4K display with zero issues. The much hyped neural processor, or NPU, is unfortunately a bit overhyped for now. While there's no doubt Huawei has designed a magnificent processor that can do all sorts of amazing things, there's just no real app usage to be found on the phone that's convincing. A Microsoft translator helps speed up real-time visual translation by using the NPU, and the on-phone gallery uses the NPU to recognize faces, places, and scene types, matching all these things without uploading any data to the cloud. There's also the camera software, which automatically identifies objects in a scene in real time and switches modes, similar to what Sony does on its devices, choosing processing methods it deems better for certain types of shots. Here's hoping Huawei's future ventures work better than the camera app though, because it seems this part of the phone is what has seen a significant downgrade from other Huawei devices. Even comparing it to last year's Pixel, the phone loses out in pretty much every single scenario. Processing is a mixed bag, and while it sometimes looks great, other times it muddies up the shot significantly and makes things look just a bit hazy and dull. Dynamic range is normally rather poor unless it identifies a backlit scene, and as a result you'll find most shots are overexposed, with a few coming in underexposed. HDR mode is completely separate from auto mode, a bizarre decision to make in 2017 without a doubt, and it takes way too long to switch to this mode for it to be useful. The camera interface in general is a bit clunky anyway, with buggy mode switching that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and buttons to switch between photo and video mode instead of just delivering dedicated shutter and record buttons. Low light is usually pretty good, grabbing lots of light thanks to a larger sensor than ever, and the phone will sometimes utilize the second monochrome sensor to help widen dynamic range by adjusting highlights and shadow detail with that other sensor. While the main 12 megapixel shooter is a color one, the secondary camera is a 20 megapixel monochrome sensor, and it's this sensor that still reigns supreme for Huawei. I absolutely love taking shots with this mode, as there's just something super special about black and white photography that captures dramatic scenes like no other. Unfortunately, it doesn't make up for the other issues here, like a front-facing camera that's usually overly soft-looking, even with beautify mode off, or a portrait mode that usually doesn't work right. There's also no image stabilization in 4K video, you've got to drop it to 1080p to get that. It's really disappointing considering the Leica branding on the back, and in general this feels like a camera on a phone from a few years ago in most ways. Outside of a mediocre camera experience, whose problems are solely the fault of software and could easily be fixed in an update, the rest of the package here is the most solid device Huawei has ever delivered. Given the issues, it's tough to make a recommendation at this price, but that could change soon enough, and we've certainly seen it happen with a number of phones this year, and there's hope that this will be another case. We hope you enjoyed that review and will subscribe to us for regularly updated content. Chat with us on your favorite social media outlet, and don't forget to check out AndroidHeadlines.com for 24/7 tech news coverage. Thanks for watching, and until next time.